Well, we all knew it was going to happen at some point. But it was nice for John Tavares to get the victory in Long Island, and the Leafs have clinched a playoff berth in the 2019 NHL Playoffs. So basically, we know 100% sure we're facing the Bruins. It is 100%. They can't catch Tampa. Montreal can't catch us. The only possible scenario is who has home ice. Now, if you go by games played and the points left, it's a very slim chance the Leafs get it. But the Leafs win 2-1 in New York today, and the difference between this game and the other New York games, Frederik Andersen actually plays. And man, oh man, does Frederik Andersen play well. He was fantastic, and we have not seen this Freddie Andersen in quite some time. 1 goal on 29 shots for Freddie. He does a great job keeping this team in it early on, because you look at the first period, shots were 16-12 in favor of the Leafs. So Robin Lehner is making 16 stops in the first period. But Freddie, he's got to face 12, and he gets the job done. Way to go. Then we go to the second period. And in the whole deal with the reason why Martin Marincin was up here and playing was that Calle Rosen was injured in the Marlies, and he would have been the option to come up and play, but he was injured. He goes back to the Marlies, does Calle Rosen. He plays a couple games, and then he suits up tonight for his first National Hockey League game, and he scores a goal, a floater from the point. This is why you shoot the puck from anywhere on the ice, because you never know. I think it hit, I want to say it was Matthew Barzal or somebody's stick up high, and it redirects, and Robin Lehner doesn't know where, well, not that he doesn't know where it is, but it's hard to react to a knuckling puck, and it goes, I think it was underneath his arm, and into the back of the net for his first National Hockey League goal. Connor Brown, Nazem Kadri, grab assist, and the Leafs, for the first time this year against the Islanders, have a lead. And you have the lead after 2 periods of play. Look at the Leafs play in the first 2, right? 16-12 in the first period, 11-9 in the second period. And for anybody say, well, it's one game and the Islanders, blah, blah, anybody wants to complain and say, make an excuse that the Leafs actually played well, the New York Islanders are a team that are still battling. Look, the Leafs, we already know who we're facing. But if you're the Islanders, you're 3 points back of the Capitals. You're 2 points up on the Penguins. There's a 5-point gap separating first and third in the Metro. You think they didn't want this win tonight, especially with Washington losing to Florida? And the Leafs went in there, and they played a pretty damn good game, like they did against Ottawa, but this time, you had good goaltending, and you got the job done. Let's go to the third period, and 3:50 in. A turnover at their own blue line by the New York Islanders. You don't do that. Mitch Marner picks it up, and he drops it to John Tavares, and he rips it into the back of the net for his 46th goal of the year, and he looked really calm, cool, and collected in the moment, but I think a lot of Leaf fans are thinking, middle finger to the Islander fans because of the way they treated him over the last couple games. I understand they're salty about the way it all happened, but that was sweet to give the Leafs the 2-0 lead, and John Tavares' goal ends up being the game winner. Mitch Marner grabs the lone assist because Jordan Eberle scores with just over 5 minutes to go on the power play, and cutting it to 2-1. And you know what, guys? I want to give the Leafs a ton of credit for their final 5 minutes of the game. Yes, the pressure by the Islanders was immense, but there was really no sustained pressure for long periods of time. You know, you saw them get a good shot on net, but the Leafs picked it up and they get it out of their own zone. And, you know, maybe they get a rush the other way or something like that. You know, they didn't allow any sustained pressure in that time, not allowing second or third opportunities. And for Frederik Andersen, he will make those first saves for the most part. He was doing that in the game today, right? He was making those first saves. How did that first goal happen? How did the Eberle goal happen? I don't know if it was a shot on net, more or less it was a cross crease. No one's got Eberle backdoor. No one's got the passing lane. Freddie Andersen's taking the guy with the puck, and it was just a complete mess defensively. Anyways, it was a power play goal, but a great job in the final 5 minutes of the Leafs not having anything I wasn't really worried in the last 5 minutes. There were times where the fans are getting loud and they have the possession in our end, and that just creeps me out in itself. But the Leafs on the ice, they didn't look that bad. You got to give it to them. And you outshot the Islanders 38-29 in their building, and you got the victory. You outshot them, you beat them 2-1, you got great goaltending, and you got to win. I mean, look, I understand we can talk about how this team's played awful lately for the last, 3 weeks or so. They haven't really been playing well. But you got to look at this game and say, man, this was a playoff game type of feel just because of the way the Islanders play. They play a physical, heavy game, where the Leafs do not, of course. But they were able to, not let that dwell. They weren't dwelling on those hits or whatnot. And they were playing their game. They scored a couple goals, and they got the win. They didn't even allow 30 shots on net. Great job. And a very scary moment in the second period. Austin Matthews blocks a shot and instantly falls. I know he played after, and I know he looked okay after, but I know as a hockey player myself, when you block a shot and you got adrenaline going and you're fine, but the moment you get off the ice and take your skate off and then you look at it, it could be a lot worse than you think. Now, I don't think that's the case with Matthews because he played the remaining period and a half, so he must have taken his skate off during the second intermission, and he did have quite a few couple of nice rushes there the rest of the second period, so I assume he's okay, which is great news, but very scary moment for Leaf fans, especially with 3 games to go after this game. By the way, if you guys are still watching this video, thank you. Since the Leafs have clinched a playoff spot, I know I've talked about it a few times in other videos, but guys, I will be going down to Maple Leaf Square for some of the playoff games. Saturdays, I'm going to try and get down to most, if not all of them. I'm going to try. Middle of the week games, again, we'll have to see when the schedule is and when we're playing and all that kind of stuff, because work schedules and all that have to coincide for me to be able to make it, right? Of course. But I'm going to try and get down there as much as I can. So if you guys are interested in going down there, watching the game, and having a great time, getting fired up and cheering on the Leafs, let me know in the comments below. And if you guys have Twitter, follow up the Teo Sports Talk, myself, the channel down below. The Twitter link is in the description, so go follow up. Send me a DM if you guys are going down. Then we have more direct contact to meet up down there and have a good time, all right? So if you guys are interested in that, please let me know, because it's going to be a lot of fun. And I know I'm going to be jacked up down there, ready to go. It's going to be one heck of a day. The nights down there are going to be amazing. They're going to be so much fun, and I can't wait to have a lot of fun with you guys down there, if you're interested, of course. All right? So, you know what? The next game for the Leafs, and I think they have 3 games remaining. And it's going to be really interesting to see how Mike Babcock works this. The reason I'm saying that, tomorrow is a back-to-back. All right, you're on the second night. You come back home to take on the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina, a team battling for the playoff spot. Garrett Sparks is pretty much the confirmed goaltender into tomorrow's game. Peter Mrazek is the expected starter in tonight's game as of right now. I will be at that game tomorrow night, and I'm scared because it's the second night of a back-to-back and it's Garrett Sparks. That's just my feel. But I'm just hoping, since I'm going, it's a little different. I'm hoping. I really, really am hoping. But for the Leafs, you know what? You clinch the playoff spot. The remaining 3 games of the year, I think it would not surprise me if they rest some guys. It really wouldn't surprise me if you see a guy like Austin Matthews or John Tavares even. I know JT's chasing that 50-point, 50-goal plateau. But really, it doesn't mean anything come playoff time. And he's 4 goals away with 3 games left. I mean, you need some really good games here to end the season, right? Yeah, that 4-goal game really, really got him good, but you're playing Carolina, you're playing Tampa, and you're playing Montreal in Montreal to end the season. The odds of him scoring 4 goals in 3 games are not easy. Why? Because those 3 teams are good teams, right? So, I'm not sure what Mike Babcock's going to do. I'm not sure who he's going to rest. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Frederik Andersen. He's not playing tomorrow. I don't know if he's going to play against Tampa. I would hope he's playing last game against Montreal, but then again, do I want that, or do you want to see him play against Tampa? But if he played against Tampa and not Montreal, he would have not played for an entire week come playoff time. So you run into that issue. There's a lot of question marks heading into the final 2 games of the year, because we know what's happening tomorrow. Garrett Sparks is getting the net tomorrow for the Leafs. But I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. I know these last 3 games are going to drag on and be a real pain because we already know what's coming after them. Playoffs against the Bruins starting April 10th. We know that. What date? Well, today's April 1st, and I didn't do an April Fool's joke on you guys. Why? Because that's mean. That's really mean. Like hearing today, Kawhi Leonard is expected to sign with the Raptors once the summer starts. By the way, April Fools. Yeah, you're a jerk. Hearing all this kind of stuff is annoying. And I'm not gonna do that to you guys. That's just mean. And you're probably going to watch it on April 2nd, so it's kind of meaningless at that point. All right? But you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoyed this video, and you guys enjoyed the victory and are just relieved and just can kind of breathe a little bit that the Leafs have clinched the playoff spot. Hit that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below what you guys think of the video, the game, and the way the Leafs played tonight, the way that Frederik Andersen played, and that, to me, that Frederik Andersen performance is kind of a breath of fresh air, because we needed him to have a game or two of really good starts heading into the playoffs, and to see him play like this tonight in New York, in a tough environment, in a tough game, a tight game, it's good to see. It really, really is. It's good to see from Frederik Andersen. I want to hear your guys' comments down below, all that great stuff. Like I said, if you want to go down to the square, guys, let me know in the comments below as well, all right? So, Evan and I will talk to you guys podcast edition. It's going to be Wednesday afternoon. Link is in the description for the podcast channel and for the podcast itself on iTunes. Twitter is also down below as well. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff. And I will talk to you guys Jays edition a little bit later on tonight as the Jays lost 6-5 to the Baltimore Orioles. We're down 6-0, came back and made it 6-5 in the 9th inning, and too little too late at that point. But it was a good fight, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And as for the Raptors, guys, they take care of business tonight. I mean, look, Orlando's a team who's desperate to get a win because they're hanging onto their playoff hopes for dear life, and the Raptors to squash some of that. Now, ideally, I think, Brooklyn, I think, was another team in the playoffs. Yeah, they lost to Milwaukee, so that really helps. Orlando doesn't lose any ground, but they didn't gain any. And for the Raptors, they've won 4 straight against a possible playoff opponent. Possible. And, you know what? You just want to play well. Look, a good second half for the Toronto Raptors, good second and third quarter, and they come away with the 121-109 victory. Beautiful. And as for the Leafs, guys, like we've talked about, they will take on the Carolina Hurricanes tomorrow at Scotiabank Arena, 7:30 puck drop. Peter Mrazek, Garrett Sparks are the expected goaltenders in that game tomorrow night. So thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you guys then.